The final portion of the video lecture for this week talks about developing your thesis statement for your speech, as well as audience analysis. So very briefly, again, because I think your textbook does a really excellent job of taking you through developing a good thesis statement. But I wanted to reiterate and also emphasize that this is not a useless exercise. Your thesis statement is so important. As a writer and a speaker, when I find myself in the middle of writing an essay or preparing a speech, and I feel my mind getting muddled, that thesis statement that I have always pulls me back. That's the first place I go to. I say, all right, what is the core message of my presentation? And then that gets me back on track. And that's what you're looking for with your thesis. If your audience were to remember nothing else about your presentation, what is the one core central message you want them to remember? And that needs to be your thesis statement, right? It's that golden nugget of truth of your message, right? So you want to make sure that it is clear. You want to make sure that it is memorable. You want to make sure it's understandable. All of those things need to happen, in most cases, within the space of one sentence, right? Or one sentence plus a phrase. So it needs to be crafted very effectively and carefully. So just to emphasize that part of the thesis statement, and you want to pay attention to what your textbook says about tactics for developing good thesis statements. Let's talk about audience analysis a little bit. As a public speaker, you are several things, right? So you are no longer just, I am no longer carr-chellman as a public speaker. I am a rhetorician, right? Someone who is using language effectively, clearly, and persuasively. I am also a psychologist, right? When you are a public speaker, you become a psychologist. Now, you are not licensed to be such, but you must put yourself in the place of your audience, and you must try to understand your topic from their perspective. What is it that this group of people needs to hear about my topic to be convinced of what I'm saying? Okay? That requires tremendous empathy. And some people have natural empathy. Some people don't. Regardless, you need to capture that human ability to put yourself in your audience's shoes and look at your topic that way. Because if you don't do that, you will miss the mark. It's tremendously important to do things that way. So you must work to understand your audience, because you need to relate your ideas to their experience. Right? And again, that's about empathy. We talked about in the communication model that I had you look at last week. It talks about how the speaker, and this is also part of the rhetorical situation, how you as a speaker create meaning with the audience. So if you understand public speaking as you presenting a message to a group of people, then audience analysis has no meaning for you. But if you start to realize that public speaking is a communication event in which meaning is co-created, then you start to get at the beauty of that dynamic situation when you're with a group of people and you have crafted a message just for them, right? Because you've researched the people that you're going to be presenting to, right? You've thought about the occasion. Why have they asked me to give this presentation? Or why am I doing this? What do they need to hear about this? And once you get into that, you start to see that this co-creation of meaning is not just an idea, but it's a really concrete reality that will make you an effective public speaker. Now, Penn State has a wonderful resource, which is called Penn State Pulse. And I'll have the link to that. It isn't up on the Angel page yet. It'll be up there in a few minutes. Penn State Pulse. Student Affairs, the Division of Student Affairs at Penn State, it's an ongoing research project on the part of the university. And what they have done is every year they have 8, 10, or 12 questions that they ask a random selection, a random representation of the Penn State student population to answer that question. So, what are your attitudes and behaviors about smoking, for example? What are your attitudes, behaviors, and habits around schoolwork and studying? What are your attitudes and behaviors around alcohol consumption? So those are just some examples. And we've got at least a decade of that information on Penn State students available for you to access. So in terms of audience analysis of your cohort of Penn State students, it's a tremendous resource, Penn State Pulse. Now your textbook will go through lots of other great ways to understand your audience. Okay, so maybe you have an audience for a presentation you're making that isn't Penn State students. Then you need to be thinking about, well, who's my point of contact and what information can they provide to me? What do I know about this group of people, the demographics, their age representation? Are they young? Are they old? Is it a diverse population? What do they know about my topic? Do they know a lot or just a little bit? And what are their political persuasions, religious persuasions, gender, sex? All those kinds of things are tremendously important to know because they impact how you research and write and organize and deliver your presentation and your speech. All right, that's all I have to say in terms of the content for this week. The readings are very useful. Please make sure you do them. Please take a look at the links we've provided on the Angel page. All right. Again, you can anticipate some feedback from us, some brief feedback from us about your first speech that you submitted. And we also have a discussion forum for you to participate in. And the question this week is going to be asking you to talk a little bit about stage fright and your experience with stage fright. And I want to encourage you to interact on the discussion forum. And Allie and I will be interacting as well. We'll be involved there. So we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say and also what your thoughts are about what other people are having to say. So get on there and enjoy it, right? Because I think that the topic and the question that we have you answering can be fun. So engage that a little bit. We won't have a discussion forum every week, but many weeks we will, and we'll let you know about that. As always, if you have any questions or concerns about the class, don't hesitate to send me an email or to send Allie an email or to post a general question to the discussion forum we have for questions there on the Angel page. Otherwise, good luck and have a great week.